Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog. It's now Friday the 29th of January. It's 10 to 6 and I'm about to head home. This week is going to be lots of moaning, sorry in advance for that. One thing I'm not moaning about, I don't know if you can see straight on at the moment my dip lights, but if I go on to full whack, super duper Philips Diamond Vision bulbs are actually pretty good. I've got to say, now I had 2 weeks with them, and they are far brighter, not even a word, brighter than the unbranded blue bulbs I had before. Definitely a lot more illumination on the road just as I'm going along, and notice it particularly, funny enough, when I get home on a night, the cul-de-sac is pretty dark at home, and you've probably noticed from previous vlogs I had a tendency to put the full beam on as soon as I got on the street, just to give myself a bit of illumination on there, and I've not needed to bother since I put these new ones in on the dipped beam, that just that bright, that illuminate everything as they are. So very pleased with that little upgrade. So things that have been happening. I got a day off on Wednesday. Whoa! Yes, it's surprising, isn't it? I mean, it wasn't a day off just for the sake of a day off, to be fair. The eldest had a little minor operation. There was nothing too deep to do, but I needed to be off because his mum was staying with him at the hospital, and something happened at the school with the youngest. I needed to be available, and also, of course, if anything needed doing at the hospital quickly, I couldn't leave work and head there. So I had the day off, dropped them off at 7:30 in the morning, and then went back and dropped youngest off at his school, and then went and caught up with a few bits and pieces at home. And of course, one of the bits and pieces I wanted to get a bit of catching up on, other than doing, bits of housework and stuff, sorting stuff out, and catching up with odds and ends. But of course, what I really wanted to be doing was playing a bit of Star Wars Battlefront. Yes, just a day off, house to myself, TV in the living room to myself, bit of Star Wars Battlefront. That's got to be it now. You've got the day off. And there's an update on Wednesday as well for Star Wars Battlefront. The first sort of update, free update content. And thought, great, put it on. Updates now to connect up. You've got to update. Oh, right, I'll update it, and then it restarts into it, and it says cannot connect to servers, temporarily down, and they're going to be down until 7 AM EST. Oh! I mean, that was just so typical for me. So yeah, basically at 10 o'clock I'd sort of thought, oh yeah, I'll get in and have a bit of a game, and they decided to shut everything down because of the update until basically midday. That was going to be. So I was a bit scuppered with my otherwise good plan. I mean, I did get a chance eventually, someone actually trying to drive in the back of my car behind me. What a nutter. So yeah, basically I had to wait until after lunch, and I got a few goes. But the thing is, they've done this new update. Great, we've got some new bits and pieces going on, some new maps. Well, not particularly new, but they've opened up existing maps to other sort of game modes, so expanded it out a bit. But in fact, the big news about it is they have ruined my favourite homing shotgun. Ruined it. And basically what seems to have happened is a load of nerdy teenagers on the EA DICE forums and obviously been whinging that they're excuse me a minute, whinging, that their extreme skills at sharpshooting with the relevant guns and running around taking care and doing the game properly and doing everything right like proper first person shooters should, is being ruined by fat old grey-haired gits like me coming along with a damn rocket launcher and just blasting it left, right and centre off at people from miles away and getting kills that way instead of actually doing it properly. I haven't got time to practice all this sniping about and wiggling about and hiding behind scenery and malarkey that all like doing, and getting out there and just running about off the hip, shooting, whacking everyone off left, right and centre and getting 50 odd kills per round. You know, it's lovely if you've got all day to sit about playing it and practice all stuff like that. Fat old gits like me don't, which is why things like the rocket launcher were nice, because at least I could end a round with maybe a few kills instead of just spending all the time run along, get shot by one of you annoying gits, thanks, start somewhere nowhere near anything happening, run all the way to the action to get shot by one of you annoying gits again. That's no fun for me. So very depressed about the fact that they've ruined it, because what happened, because everyone was bemoaning about the homing shot, apparently they've increased the lock-on time so greatly that by the time it's actually managed to even try and get a lock onto someone, they've probably run way out of the range of it anyway. Or far more likely is, because you're spending so long looking down the scopes trying to get it to lock on and not paying attention to what's around you, someone's come in from the side, back, or even the front and shot you, because you just tunnel visioned looking in through the scope thing trying to get this lock on. So effectively it is useless now, complete rubbish. Since Wednesday night I've been trying to get it going, and no, it's just not having it. You might be lucky once or twice to get a kill with it, but most of the time you'll miss completely, because whoever you were aiming at, if you even got a lock, has run off way before it's even got anywhere near where it's going. So yeah, I was kind of a bit peeved about that. Ended up watching a load more videos on tips and guns, maybe changing guns, because although I was enjoying my little like sawn-off shotgun type damage thing, I thought I'd try some other ones. That didn't go too well, to be fair, because I was still doing the same old thing of running about and trying to run into people and running upon them and shooting them, and then it all went a bit pear-shaped last night, to be fair. One thing they have introduced, which is kind of nice, quite good, is they've introduced a sort of a daily challenge, as it were, so something to do. So like on Wednesday, it was play as a hero, so I just nipped into hero hunt, thought I'll give it a go there. Of course, there's a good chance you start as villains, not heroes, but I was fortunate enough to start a match as the hero side, the rebels, so got that one dispatched straight away, and you get like a bunch of credits for doing a daily challenge. And yesterday's one was just win 5,000 credits worth, which again, that was pretty much dispatched in a couple of droid runs, because it's easy enough to pick up a fair few with those. Like I say, even if I don't really spectacularly kill that many people, but as long as I keep grabbing a few of those droids, then I don't do so bad with that. So the daily challenges I'll probably add a bit more interest. I think what I'm going for now, because my homing shot is entirely useless as a star card, I'm going to try, because everyone seems to say generally what you need is the jetpack to get you going. And I've got to admit, I spend a lot of time just running about aimlessly from one place to the other, not really getting to the action. By the time I get there, obviously end up dead, and then it throws me back into somewhere miles away from where I need to be. So I'm thinking jetpack's a good move, get me somewhere quicker, and also I'll hopefully then be able to get a few more kills. Maybe, you know, if I'm getting fired at whatever, I can jetpack out of the way, and I might get a chance. There's some guns that work well if you're sort of in the air and you can swing around and shoot people, so gonna give that a go anyway. So that's general Star Wars Battlefront news. The update completely balls up my game, as it were, and I'm gonna just have to rethink it and start all over again. But you know, maybe it's a good thing that I'm changing things around with it, but there you are. Anyway, so more bemoaning, because there is much bemoaning in this one. So our carrier label printer out in the warehouse, it's kind of an important thing, because you know, we can send hundreds of parcels a day, and each one has to be labelled. So you have a label printer from the carrier, and you input your details into the computer, and then it prints out X number of labels. You know, we could have a consignment with 15, 20 boxes, so you need all those labels printing out. So label print is pretty much an essential part of our working day. So the other day, on the morning, warehouse man comes in to me, it says, the label printer's not working. And I've tried turning it off and on again, classic fix, and all it does is it prints this label. So it gives me this label and it says, warning, thermal printhead failure. Call customer support now on telephone number. Now spot the deliberate mistake there. You turn it off, you turn it on, it prints on a label this perfect printing saying that the print head's failed. How? It can't have failed because you've just bloody printed the message out to me saying it's failed. So how is it failed? But it would not do a thing. I just tried everything I could think of. Checked the number, and that was for our carrier. We use Interlink Express, but they're part of DPD, and it was DPD support. So rang the number, got the guy through, goes through a few things. Said, I've had another one of these today. It's like, all right. Yeah. So he goes, no, right, we'll deliver a new one tomorrow, but you'll have to give that one back to the driver before you can have the new one. It's like, right, okay, well, I suppose that solves the problem because you're going to replace it. Because it doesn't solve the problem. I've got a day's worth of parcels to ship, and I've not actually got a label printer. And it didn't help with that. But fortunately for me, because it's the way of things, we actually had a spare, exact same model. Well, not quite the same model, but not far off. Spare label printer. So it wasn't such a disaster in the end, because I managed to get that going after much meddling, and way too much meddling. In fact, it was right. You'd think pretty much the same printer. You just unplug one, plug the other one in. It would all work with it, wouldn't it? Yeah. No. Back and forth, not recognising it, refusing to print with it. Blah blah blah. Couldn't work it out. It doesn't help. It uses Java. The website does to interact with the printer, which is constantly a pain in the backside on its own. So yeah, there was much faffing about. It turned out it's something to do somehow, even though they were connected to the same USB port with the same USB lead, and they're both just USB printers, it was bringing the one up as an entirely different port code to the other one. So yeah, like USB 003 printer port, it brought this new one up as USB 001. Why would it be different? It's the same USB port, same cable, it's just plugged in. So, and that seemed to be why it wasn't working. It was looking at 3 where the previous one was to print, but it wasn't printing because it wasn't there. Oh, so there's that annoyance. Then, because we've not finished yet, do online banking for the business, and one of the admin ladies obviously needs to go into the bank to do payments for suppliers, is done through batches of that, and also arrange the collection of direct debits from customers and things like that. So we do that, okay, fine. So she has a computer which we've not really had a problem with. It's still running Windows XP, and yes, sharp intake of breath from all the people who will say, oh well, that's so insecure and dangerous, and what. We have no critical data on it, already behind our own firewall, so that's not a problem, you know. And the bank side of it would log in, but we have one of those little gadgets as well that you need to complete authorization that's entirely separate. So there's no way anyone would get all the information needed to log in through any sort of hack. And like I say, it just sits there. It's a computer that doesn't need to do much. It didn't need to be a spectacular computer or running fantastic OS. So been working fine for ages, and then all of a sudden tomorrow, when it's really needed to pay suppliers via her, just won't log in. It logs into the bank website, but the secure bit, it just says no, it's not going to do it. And the thing is, I was like, well, I'll try it on my computer. That bit goes fine. Tried other secure connections on that computer, on the XP one, They work fine. So like, well, that's a bit weird. And then we tried it on another XP one we've got in the office, just as an off chance. Funny enough, it wouldn't load on that XP one either, but it worked fine on Windows 7 and fine on Windows 10. And my conclusion is that what's happened is the bank are actively blocking XP to log into the bank for security reasons, which is a fair play, but it's a ball ache for me because, well, it wasn't too bad because I just loaned them my laptop to do the banking with for yesterday. Unfortunately, I had a spare tower, so I've had to do a fresh build of Windows 7 on that and reinstall all the stuff she uses, the Sage accounts and whatever else. So she's got that to log into the bank on Monday because she's going to take all the sort of payments from our customers that to pay on a monthly basis. So that was a load of faffing about I didn't need to go with all the other faffing about I didn't need to do. So it's generally been a faffy time, to be honest. They are Battlefront's ruined my game, label printers, computers not working, and swapping computers around and reinstalling billions of Windows updates as well. Oh, man, do without it. So there you are. That's been my week. Really, well, I mean that's just the brief, small amount of miseries. You know, there's probably been a lot more, but you don't want to hear all my moaning, do you? So that's it. I'm going in now. It's cold. I'm going to go and relax, hopefully. So have a good weekend and week next week. If you're doing any videos, I'll try and watch them in between trying to play Battlefront. Well, normally that ends up being late night anyway, and then that doesn't help my game whatsoever. Okay, I'll catch you next week in the coffee vlog.